What if I told you that millions of years before humans walked the earth, a completely different world existed? A world filled with giant creatures, ancient oceans, and unimaginable mysteries. Welcome to Homo Habilis, your gateway to the lost history of our planet. Here, we travel back in time to uncover the creatures, civilizations, and events that shaped life on Earth. If you're fascinated by ancient worlds, evolution, dinosaurs, prehistoric animals, and forgotten mysteries, you're in the right place. So, subscribe to Homo Habilis and join us on an incredible journey through time. Now, let's step back millions of years and begin our adventure.
Every morning, I wake up, grab my phone before I even open my eyes, scroll for like 20 minutes, and then feel terrible about myself for the rest of the day. And somewhere in the back of my head, I start thinking, man, what am I even doing with my life? But then I thought, wait, let's go back. Way back, like 50,000 years back. Because here's the thing nobody asks. What was a regular Tuesday like for a guy who lived before civilization? Before jobs? Before Netflix? Before the concept of a morning routine? Did he have it figured out? Was he miserable? Was he actually happier than us? That's what we're getting into today. And I promise, by the end of this, you're going to look at your life completely differently. Let's go. So first things first, how did ancient humans wake up? Birds, sunlight, that's it. No alarm, no 5 snoozes, no, okay, just 10 more minutes. The sun came up, their eyes opened. Done. But here's where it gets interesting. And honestly, a little wild. Scientists believe ancient humans didn't sleep the way we do. They didn't just knock out for 8 hours straight. Instead, they slept in 2 separate chunks. First sleep, early in the night. Then, they'd wake up somewhere around midnight, totally naturally, hang out for an hour or so, and then go back to sleep until sunrise. Historians actually have a name for that in-between time. They call it the watch. And what did people do during the watch? They'd talk quietly, think. Some would pray. Some would just lie there. And yeah, some would hook up. Not going to pretend that wasn't happening. The point is, waking up in the middle of the night wasn't a sleep disorder 50,000 years ago. It was just Tuesday night. So if you're someone who wakes up at 2 a.m. and can't fall back asleep, congrats. You're not broken. You're just ancient. All right, so the sun's up. Now what? This is the part where everyone assumes ancient life was just nonstop survival, running from things, hunting all day, barely making it. And honestly, that's completely wrong. Here's a fact that genuinely surprised me when I first read it. Researchers who study modern hunter-gatherer groups, people who still live the way our ancestors did, like the Kongsan people of the Kalahari Desert in Africa, they found that these folks spend somewhere between 15 and 20 hours a week on food. A week, not a day. A week. That's like 3 to 4 hours a day, max. Compare that to the average American working a 9 to 5, commuting, cooking, grocery shopping. We're pulling way more hours just to eat and survive. Ancient humans were more efficient than us. Let that sink in. Now, the work wasn't the same for everyone. Women typically gathered roots, berries, fruits, nuts. Men usually hunted in small groups. And this combo was so effective that there was almost always enough food. Oh, and one more thing. These guys didn't need GPS. They had entire landscapes memorized. Every water source, every animal trail, every seasonal pattern. Their brains were basically living, breathing Google Maps. Except, it never crashed. So morning's done. Food's handled. What happens next? They chilled. I'm serious. The afternoon was basically downtime. Grooming each other, picking through hair, cleaning up, sitting around talking, napping in the shade, watching the kids run around. Anthropologist Robin Dunbar, the guy who came up with Dunbar's number, which is the idea that humans can only maintain about 150 meaningful relationships. He found that ancient social life was incredibly rich. Like, these people were deeply connected to each other. Not in a we follow each other on Instagram kind of way. In a real, physical, you know everything about me kind of way. And the napping? That wasn't laziness. That was biology. Scientists call it polyphasic sleep. The idea that humans are actually wired to rest in the middle of the day. A short afternoon nap is built into our DNA. So if you've ever fallen asleep at your desk after lunch and felt guilty about it, stop. You're not lazy. You're literally following your evolutionary programming. Try explaining that to your boss. Let me know how it goes. Okay, now we get to the good part. Evening, the fire. Humans have been controlling fire for roughly 1 million years. And yeah, the obvious thing is, fire meant cooked food, warmth, protection from predators at night. But there's something deeper going on here that most people don't talk about. An anthropologist named Polly Wiesner did this incredible study where she looked at what people talk about during the day versus what they talk about at night around the fire. During the day, conversations were mostly practical. Who's doing what? Where to go? Who messed up? Kinda tense sometimes. But at night, around the fire, everything changed. People told stories. They laughed. They talked about the spirit world, about history, about what it means to be a good person. The whole emotional register shifted. The fire was their living room, their podcast, their late night talk show. And here's the scientific kicker. Cooking food is literally why our brains got so big. Cooked food is easier to digest, which means your body spends less energy on digestion and more energy on, thinking. So the next time someone gives you credit for being smart, just say, "Thanks, I think it was the cooking." By the time it got fully dark, the group would settle in. And this is the part I find most beautiful about ancient life. The night wasn't scary silence. It was storytelling. Every culture that's ever existed has had oral storytelling as its heartbeat. And for ancient humans, those nighttime stories weren't just entertainment. They were education. They were moral code. They were the glue holding the group together. Here's how we caught that bison last season. Here's why you don't eat those red berries. Here's what happened to the last guy who crossed the river during flood season. Practical, emotional, funny, scary, all wrapped into one. And above them, the stars. Ancient humans read the night sky the way we read a calendar. They knew which constellations meant rain was coming, which meant it was time to move, which meant the salmon would be running. The sky was their almanac. No app, no weather forecast, just thousands of years of passed down knowledge, memorized and trusted. There's something kind of humbling about that, honestly. So, here's where I land after going down this rabbit hole. Ancient humans slept better than us, worked less than us, had stronger social connections than us, spent more time laughing around a fire than we spend doing anything meaningful in a day. And we call them primitive. I don't know, man. Feels like we got a little lost somewhere between inventing the internet and forgetting how to have a real conversation. Now look, I'm not saying we should all go live in the woods. I like hot showers and antibiotics as much as the next guy. But maybe the lesson is smaller than that. Maybe it's go outside more. Talk to people without a screen between you. Let yourself rest without feeling guilty about it. Your ancient brain is still in there. It just needs a little more fire and a little less scroll. If this video hit different for you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And I'll catch you in the next one.